afternoon, everybody. I'm off this week, so what I thought is I'd do a wee recipe, and it's for tonight's dinner, all being well. What I'm going to be doing is a chicken tandoori tikka masala. I'll show you the spices that I'm going to marinate the chicken in. Ideally it should be overnight, but it'll probably be in the fridge once I mix this together for about 6 hours or so, so hopefully that'll do the trick. Okay folks, so just at the back here what I have is about 1.5 tablespoons of garlic and ginger paste, and the ratio of that when I made it up was 1 part ginger to 1 part garlic. Over here what I have is 3 tablespoons of tandoori masala mix powder, 1 teaspoon of cumin powder, 1.5 teaspoons of turmeric powder, 2 teaspoons of coriander powder, 1 teaspoon of Kashmiri chili powder, 1 teaspoon Kasoori Methi. That's it, that's what I was looking. Here I have roughly about 1 teaspoon of cardamon powder. What I did was took green cardamoms, just bashed them up, and then took the seeds out and put them into a pestle and mortar and ground it into a powder. I have 1/4 teaspoon just English mustard, 2.5 teaspoons of mint, and here I have 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. Also what I will add to the marinade mix is a good squeeze of lemon juice, and I will probably put in 4 to 5 tablespoons of natural full fat Greek yogurt, and that over to my left, which you can't see, is roughly about 600 grams of chicken thigh. And as I said before, I prefer to use the chicken thigh because there's more flavours in it. It doesn't dry out as quickly as chicken breast. What I'm going to do is first of all is add in the garlic and ginger paste. So get that in first of all. In no particular order. I will try and get these dried spices in. I want to leave the Kasoori Methi leaves. I'm just going to crumble these first of all because I don't want these kind of holes. So just really crumble this in between my hands here. Right, get that sorted. Another wee bit. Just crumble that in. Okay. This will give it a nice flavour. You don't want to have too much of this in. Sorry, it was actually 1.5 teaspoons of the Kasoori Methi or Fenugreek leaves. Okay, so I'm going to leave these little wet spices here out of the road first of all. So I'm going to attempt to get all the dried spices in. So scrape that all in. As you can see, some of the already the mint is trying to make its way down. So, and the mustard. So, okay, if it's that eager, we may as well scrape it in. It's rushing me along. Maybe not a bad idea. So get all those spices in. Then in with the tandoori masala powder. Okay, give that a good mix round. And you could put in the chicken now, I suppose, but I'm going to put in the yogurt. So 1, 2, probably 2.5, call it 3, and that's 4. 4 heaped, I'm sure probably near 5 heaped tablespoons of yogurt. So get that round. I'll squeeze the lemon juice in, may as well do that now. Give that a good mix. Really want to mix that well up. What I'm going to add in is a pinch of salt. I'm just going to eyeball this, so that's 1 tablespoon of salt going in because the tandoori masala mix. Goodness gracious, I cannot speak this morning. Note, I'm off work, so obviously the brain isn't functioning as it normally is on a Monday or any working day of the week. So make sure that's all well mixed. I can see bits of powder at the bottom. Really don't want that. That looks the job now. seems all well mixed. I don't see any grainy bits of any of the spices that are here, and it smells absolutely wonderful. You know, to be honest, I could sit and eat this like I would ice cream. This is where it nicely comes in, so I'm just going to get the chicken. Okay, I'll just chuck it in. Maybe if I'm down the shop I might grab another bit of chicken and throw it in. So nothing like it, just simply in with the hands with this. And you want to make sure that all that chicken is well covered. I have probably overdone it a bit in terms of the marinade, but I really don't care. Now when I say overdone, I've made maybe a wee bit too much. Maybe I could have added in 1 tablespoon less of yogurt, but it's not going to make any difference really. I should say, when you're putting yogurt into these type of mixes, and I didn't do it unfortunately, is if you have it in the fridge, leave it out, maybe sitting for 20 minutes, half an hour, just so it kind of cools down. Thank goodness it's not too cold here today. In good old South or County Down, in the Mourne Mountains, it's nice and bright outside. But there we are, that is that all well mixed through. I had to take my wedding ring off, which I never do, because I don't want this stuck in behind it. So there we are, lovely hands, look. So that's it folks, this will go in, I'll cover this with cling film. I'm not going to show you that because I normally get bloody well frustrated with the thing. I will pop this into the fridge, probably for about 4 to 5 hours. If you can leave this overnight, honestly, it will be all the better, and one of these days I'm going to do that. I have taken the marinated chicken out, it's been cooked, I'll show you that very shortly. So now what I'm going to show you is the spices that will go in to make up the tikka masala sauce. So what I have in here, 1.5 teaspoons, heaped teaspoons of mild curry powder, 1.5, I should say, teaspoon of garam masala, 3/4 of a teaspoon of tandoori masala powder, 3/4 of a teaspoon of fenugreek leaves, 1 teaspoon of Kashmiri chili powder, probably about, yeah, 1, and you maybe can't see it, I have roughly about 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Here I have a couple of wee pieces of cassia bark or cinnamon, 2 black cardamon pods, goodness gracious me, couldn't find my green ones, just picked these out, and a bay leaf. Probably I will put in about 3 to 4 tablespoons of sugar. There will be 1.5 heaped teaspoons of the garlic and ginger paste that I showed you earlier. And in this jar, what I have is 3 heaped teaspoons of tomato puree. I've just mixed that round with some water. Bit lazy, didn't decide to blend or pulse tomatoes this evening. And over here, coconut milk powder. I have roughly about 5 heaped tablespoons of that. I haven't used this before, so it's something new to me. It'll make it's better than certainly desiccated coconut. It can leave things grainy. I have used that in this type of curry before, in kormas and things. Ideally I should use this. I've maybe used coconut milk. Again, probably not as authentic as it should be, but this coconut milk powder is 100% made of fresh coconut. It's just been dried up. Okay, so without further ado, let's get cooking. So I have here roughly about, in the pot, very hard to say it, about 3 tablespoonfuls of just vegetable oil. To the left of the pot where we'll be cooking spices in, I have the base gravy. Check my recipe out for that, because I'll be using that to make up obviously the tandoori tikka sauce, or the tikka masala, my goodness gracious me, tikka masala sauce. So okay, I can see the oil begin to bubble a wee bit. I'll turn it down to a medium heat. The first thing will go in be the bay leaf, the couple of black cardamon pods which I have cracked, and just the little bits of cinnamon. So as I say, just check this is on, and really it's only just stir these around, really just for about 45 seconds to a minute. One of my little black cardamom pods has escaped me. Turn it now down to medium and see those begin to darken. Next to go in will be the garlic and ginger paste. I showed you. So make sure that's all in. So just want to stir that round just with the back of the spoon. Don't want it to burn. Maybe crank it down, bring it down a wee bit to medium low. Just give it a minute just to take the tartness out of the curry. Going to turn this down to medium low. In with the curry paste. Sorry, with the tomato paste, I should say. Not curry paste. You wouldn't have to know this is Monday. So get that all in. Just give that a mix round. Okay. The base gravy I have heating beside me. Okay. Nice red colour. Just want to try out a wee bit the tartness from the tomato puree. The only spices that I'm not going to put in, obviously I'm going to put in the curry powder, mild curry powder, so a bit of cinnamon bark, the tandoori masala powder, the Kashmiri chili powder, and I'll put in the salt as well. I've taken the fenugreek leaves or Kasoori Methi. There's the salt going in, so that's the spices in. Just give it, again, have this now on a low heat. I just want to cook this through a wee bit, but I don't want those spices to burn. So make sure you keep stirring. Just one ladle at the moment off the base gravy. I must measure this out, but I'm going to say that's probably maybe, I'm going to say I'll actually add 2 in. Okay, roughly about 200-250 mils of the base gravy in. Absolutely looking wonderful. Making sure I'm wasting nothing. Every last grain of spice in. And of course my fingers are all going to be bloody well red. Another good stir round. Don't mind red, I'm a Liverpool supporter. Certain people that I know will claim, oh, the red belongs to Man United, the Manchester United. To hell with that. They know who they are. They'll probably make some comment now in this video because I've slagged off their wonderful team. Okay, they're doing better than us this year, but I've never won as many European Cups or Champions Leagues, whatever the heck you want to call it. God, that's going back a long way, the European Cup. So, base gravy doing nicely there. As you can see, I'm using a bloody plastic ladle. I hate plastic. There will be a lot of sauce because people like their sauce in this house. But I mean, you know, you can reduce this down, just make it as thick as you want. If I had added in, there's another 2 ladles in. If I had added in, I suppose, pureed tomatoes, as opposed to being lazy and going for the tomato puree, this might have been a wee bit thicker, but you know, and it's a nice consistency of the base gravy. So this is on a medium heat. Just keep stirring this round, bring it up to a medium high. I want to cook the base gravy off a little bit, and also make sure all the spices there that we've talked about are incorporated. So 4 to 5, I'm going to say roughly probably about 5 tablespoons of the coconut milk powder. Me being an ignorant sod and learning from wonderful people like Latif's Inspired, learning from Al's Kitchen, learning from my little kitchen, and I've just picked up another Indian cook, a lady, Bumbi, B-U-M-B-I. I think that's how maybe her name is spelled. And it's called Cooking with Bumbi. Right, so turn it down to medium. Okay, it's bubbling a bit. Bring it down to medium low. So I'm going to now add in the coconut milk powder. I want to make sure this is well stirred because so in case there's any lumps in it. Get that in with the sugar as well. 1, 2, 3 big heaped, probably dessert spoons more than tablespoons, but hey ho. But using the back of the spoon, I don't want any lumps with this. Looks good. Looks good. I'm going to turn the base gravy off because it's bubbling away here, so that's warm enough. I want to add some more. Up to a medium heat now with the sauce. So I'm going to have a little drink. As I say, I'm off work, no work tomorrow, so we're going to have one. And anyway, know that song, the Boomtown Rats? I don't like Mondays, I fucking hate a Monday, pardon my language at work. But today, it's been great. I've been off, and I have to be honest, it's just flowing in. Typical. Usually a Monday for me drags in when I'm at work. Probably not something that people might use in their tikka masala, but the hell with it, I am. I'm going to add, bring another wee bit of sweetness to it, 2-3 tablespoons of almond powder. You're probably saying, Christ, this guy's near cooking a korma. But anyway, just my little twist on my tikka masala. Again, stir this around with the back of the spoon. Going to add a bit more base gravy. Another ladle. Oh, ladle and a half. Give it a really good stir around. Kind of a medium to low heat. Just after adding that almond powder in, I want to make sure, a bit like the coconut milk powder, you get little lumps and things like that in. I want to make sure it's as smooth as possible. I do want to thicken it up, and the almond powder I think will probably do that. I'm going to add, I think this should be enough sauce, I hope. I have to remember, leave a little bit of this for Amy this evening, because she can take it with her into work tomorrow evening. God help the poor child, she's away in. Okay, so that's the Kasoori Methi. And give that another little bit of a stir. She's away into work. Starts at 8:30, won't finish until 8:30 tomorrow evening. Very proud of her. She works with disadvantaged young people. So if I tilt this will give me an idea of how much. Yep. So I'm going to add another, oh the hell, there's not that much more. Well, I'll add another ladle in, see how it goes. Give this a stir around. Yep, don't want things to stick. What I'm going to do now is add a good pinch. I think I mentioned maybe it was about 3/4 of a teaspoon of garam masala. I put it out. I'm probably going to actually only use maybe half a teaspoon. There we are. So that's that. And to heck with it, in with the rest of the base gravy. I'm going to let this do on a medium-high heat for a minute. Let it thicken a wee bit. Let that garam masala and the Kasoori Methi leaves and the Fenugreek leaves infuse. Right, folks, this is almost ready to rock and roll. So has thickened up a wee bit, which is great. What I'm going to do is bring this pot over. I don't know whether you can see into it or not, might be a bit blurred, but I'll put it down a bit. So I'm going to do tonight a saffron rice. Yeah, saffron, I hear you say, is this fucker rich? No, I'm not. I have a wee bit of saffron. I think I bought a little box many months ago in the Asian food store. See again, if I can show you that. Don't want to take the top off in case it falls into the curry. But that was probably then $4.50. Not overly packed, that by the way, that box. Checked it on Amazon the other day and holy shit, $6.75 for something similar. For 1 gram. 1 gram, good God. This is dearer than gold, this stuff. Have it up, I've brought it up now to kind of a medium heat. What I'm going to do now is add in cream. Yep, this is heavy cream, or double cream as we would call it here in good old Northern Ireland or Ireland, or in the UK. Heavy cream I think in the United States. So roughly about 100 mils of that. Now I know when you go to restaurants, and you probably say, oh, my curries kind of look the same colour. Well, what some places do, and I could have done it, and I'm not sure whether my dearest darling wife has any, would be to use red food colouring. I'm not a great person for that. Turn the lights on. I'm not a great person for that, so apologies. So last but not least, in with the chicken that I cooked earlier. As I say, you can see it's slightly charred, just the way I have done this before, only a slightly different mix and marinade today, which you know of. So this is going to go in, and because of the spices etc. that were on it, it'll give its own wee bit of flavour. Not that much different to obviously the spices that went in, basically all the same, but break that through a bit. Don't want to stir too much because it's pretty well cooked. Some chunks are a little bit bigger than others, you know, so get it up now to a medium-high heat. As I say, people could reduce this down, and I probably will. I'll be back to show you it very shortly. That's it cooked. I'm just going to reduce it ever so slightly. You could serve it like this. I suppose, I mean, I don't want to say it, but you probably could add in a little bit of corn flour and water, or corn flour slurry as it's called in the cooking trade. Never knew that before, picking all these wee things up, watching people, that I've been watching people for ages, but hey ho, doesn't that look absolutely wonderful? Absolutely, you know. See if we can bring this up to the camera, it'll probably go out of bloody focus. I don't know, maybe it is out of focus now, but that's what it's going to look like on the plate. Well folks, it has thickened up a wee bit. You know, I'm looking at this, maybe it's probably this little drop of cream, so to hell with it, I'm going to throw it in. So it's 150 mils of cream has went into that. Give it a little stir around. As I say, could have added a bit of food colouring in, I'm not going to. Let this do another bit, and I will show you this on the plate. Well folks, this is the saffron rice. I'm just going to put a lid on, just thought I'd show you. I'm going to put a lid on it, let it sit for about 10 minutes so I can absorb any moisture that's in it. And I'll show you this on a plate very shortly with my lovely chicken tikka masala. Well folks, here we are. It's on a plate. Good God, it's dropping out of my mouth. I'm absolutely starving. It smells wonderful, absolutely delicious. I did taste it while I make this, and my little pilau rice turned out super as well. So, from Whitebeard's Kitchen, excuse me, good God. Oh, wow. From Whitebeard's Kitchen, have a good night, wherever the hell you are in the world. Rock on, and I'll see you soon. I'm sorry, I need to get off to eat this because I'm really hungry. Bye.